So it's that. You just won the Three Rivers Championship. How do you feel?
I feel ecstatic. Not just the fact that Superior G cheated to steal my title in the first place, but tonight I made history. I am the first ever PWX Three Rivers champion twice. I am the first time, two-time champion. So yeah,
Well,
feels good.
now on a personal note, where did the banana character come along?
Oh, Charles? Me and Charles go way back. I would say back to Nam or Woodstock or maybe the Industrial Revolution, but I digress. I'm just kidding. It's a very long story where Charles came from. It was a backstage gag that turned into a real thing. Now Charles is everywhere I go, and everywhere I am. So, like, he's now on my gear. He's now on my suitcase. He's everywhere I go. Like, all my merch has him. Oh, like, he goes to every show I'm at. Like, every promotion I go to. Like, every signing I go to. He's with me. We just started clicking, I guess.
And now for backstage, how's your relationship with everyone backstage?
Now, everyone would say, honestly, that everybody's everybody. Everyone's friends, everyone's friendly at locker rooms. They're lying to you. I go to a lot of locker rooms that's very cliquey. Like groups here, groups here, groups here. But I have to say, PWX McKeesport, Pennsylvania is one of the best locker rooms I've been in. Everybody is together. There's no cliques, there's no nothing. There's everybody. I know this sounds cliche, but there's nothing but love in the PWX locker room. And I wrestle all over. And I can safely say that this locker room is completely awesome. It's peaceful. We all goof off. We all BS. It's amazing. Anywhere else I go is cliques, but this one up here, right behind me, I have no problems with. I have no problems with anybody in the PWX locker room, and that says a lot. So take it as you may, but this place, it's just my opinion though. I find it very peaceful.
And speaking of cliques, a lot of people may know your relationship with Manic and Dishonor. How did that all start for you?
I am actually still a member of Dishonor. We haven't really, since Manic and I really don't see eye to eye anymore. You know, I'm more Three Rivers and Charles and everything, and he's more like the hero champ now, and he's off doing his thing, not paying his child support. I'm over here trying to make a name for myself without him. But we're still Dishonored. Like, for those who don't know, like, we hang out more than just it shows. Like, we're Dishonored. We used to train together. We used to hang out together. We used to like go to each other's birthday parties together. We like I would go to his family get-togethers. He'd come to my family get-togethers. Like, there's no like beef between us. It's just we just are at different parts of our career.
And for some of us who don't know, how did you Dishonor start?
Oh, how did Dishonor start? Dishonor started, it was actually pretty funny. It was out back in my hometown of Altoona, Pennsylvania. And there was a whole bunch of, in my opinion, this is my opinion, a bunch of workers that were getting overlooked, and they are really good in the ring. They know psychology, they show up to practice. In my opinion, championship material. But they got overlooked.
Oh, you were talking about me.
They get cheated. They don't get booked properly. They get down in the card. They're on pre-show. No one really knows who they are. You know, a lot of people do politics. A lot of people book people that they like. They don't book people for what they have in the ring. Dishonor got together to join everybody together to fight the powers of that what was. And now for me, as a late member, I joined late into Dishonor, but now I'm still one of the only members left. I had a legit miscommunication with a certain promoter. I'm not dropping any names. A certain promoter, and he never saw my matches. He didn't think I was good enough to be main event material, and he bumped me down the card. It started affecting me in real life. It started affecting my confidence. It started affecting my promo skills. It was it was just terrible. Right before I joined Dishonor, I was actually thinking about hanging it up because this guy got in my head, which you shouldn't let a guy get in your head about. But Dishonor actually found me and offered me a position with them because they saw this. They saw my potential of being a champion. So actually, I thank Dishonor because when I joined Dishonor, it gave me the confidence to go forward on my own. So I would always be a member of Dishonor no matter where I go. So I hope that answered your question.
That did. And not dropping any names, but since you left the previous promoter, what brought you here to PWX and McKeesport?
Oh, dude, I got the boot from Eclipse. Actually, I really didn't get the boot from Eclipse. It was a mutual. I got an extension contract. I ripped it up and didn't sign it, and I never went back. Actually, when I left Eclipse, my booking started skyrocketing, and it was great. And the first place was here at PWX. And the reason I started here at PWX was one of the bookers here was an old tag team partner of mine way back in the day. I was still the Vampire. And he got a hold of me. He goes, "Hey, man, you still work?" I'm like, "Yeah, I still work." And he goes, "Are you vaccinated?" I'm like, "I am vaccinated." He goes, "Okay, we're doing COVID tapings during 2020 and 2021. Okay, so I debut here in the first COVID taping of 2020. And I impressed the bookers, I impressed the owner of the building, I impressed the locker room, and they kept me. So here I am, 2023, Three Rivers champion.
Two-time.
First time ever, two-time.
And going back to your history with your gimmicks, what brought that vampire gimmick out for those who don't know?
Oh man, I answered this question a million times, and I love the story, so I'll tell you. LESTAT is one of the most iconic vampire creations by Anne Rice. Anne Rice is my favorite Arthur. She just recently died, which sucks. But anywho, when I was in junior high school, I was the vampire goth kind of kid. I would actually have Interview with the Vampire in my pocket. I would read it on the bus. So anyway, junior high school kids, they pick on people. They picked on me because I was different, and they started poking at me, going, "LESTAT, LESTAT, LESTAT," like kids do, and it stuck. And I just was like, whatever about it. I just ignored it. And then it got, as closer to high school graduation, it got worse and worse. And I was like, whatever. I just ignored them. Then I actually had a legit friend who unfortunately passed away last year. She told me that she thought LESTAT was hot because, did you watch the movie? But anyway, she told me that I should embrace it. And I'm just like, all right, yeah, okay. I got it, whatever. So I was just like, okay, LESTAT is me, I'm LESTAT. And then high school graduation, and then LESTAT dropped for a long time. But for a small tidbit of information people really don't know is when I was in high school, I was actually in wrestling practice. I was training. No one really knows that quite well. It's a secret because I was under 18. Shh, don't tell nobody. And then I was hanging out with this hippie gimmick guy. And we would go to practice back and forth. And I actually got to tell him about my life and everything. And I told him about LESTAT. And he would start LESTAT, and then everyone would start. And so it came back around. It just never left. And then my first match as the Vampire, I didn't have a name for my debut match because I was even supposed to debut that night. I was supposed to be a referee. And I didn't think of the name, and this hippie guy just yelled to the announcer, his name's Count LESTAT. And he looks at me, the kind of face, and LESTAT was following me for the rest of my life, and it's been there ever since.
And one final question. Speaking of how you got into the business, what motivated you to get into it? What was your, how do I want to say it, the person you looked up to in wrestling that pretty much pushed you into it?
You're talking about how I got into wrestling the first time?
How you got into it and what became of your passion for the business?
When I was growing up, I had a great-grandmother who would watch wrestling, and I was trying to watch it with her. However, my mom worked a lot. My dad died when I was really young. And so I had a babysitter who loved WCW and ECW. And so when she would work evening shifts, like on Monday nights, she would flip between Nitro and Raw. And I started watching it. I got really into it. Which leads into your second question is I was watching it in, I forget what year, 98, 99. And I saw this dude who was dressed in red tight shirt, arm gloves, and rainbow hair. And I'm like, I want to be that guy. And it ended up being Jeff Hardy, who is still, to this day, my #1 favorite wrestler. And is my inspiration every day for coming and doing this.
Well, Lestat, thank you for your time.
Thank you
And I know how late it is, and I know how you want your pie.
I want my pie.
So
You better make me look good, Kyle.
I definitely will.
Thank you.
Thank you.